accumulated loss for during the last 10 years. We cannot, Thai Airways cannot go further, but we still have the expense to pay. Then how we can survive? Will you accept the pay reduction significantly? That if we stay all together at that time, 30,000 employees, everybody will disappear. Any jobs or any work process that you did and never use it for 1 year, 2 years, just cut it.
Do you feel like if you were a state enterprise right now, things would be different?
No, I'm waiting for it, that we can exit from the state-owned enterprise.
Welcome back to the Mindset of Success podcast. We are very excited to introduce our special guest today, Khun Chai Eamsiri. He's currently the president of Thai Airways International. Thank you so much for giving up your time to be on our podcast today.
Yeah.
So, Khun Chai here has been working at Thai Airways for well over a decade. And
for almost 4 decades.
Almost 4 decades.
Yes.
And he is also known as one of the leaders of the survival team. Now, do you mind telling our viewers what being a part of the survival team is and how it was established?
Actually, when we facing a big trouble, especially when we facing the pandemics, and we also have a accumulated loss for during the last 10 years. Thai Airways cannot go further. Then the government decided to sell some shares to the private fund. Then Thai Airways becoming the public company, purely public company. And after that, we submit to the court to filing for the rehabilitation plan. Then after that, the revenue from the flight, the transportation revenue is almost nil. Before pandemic, we used to have about 14 billion baht per month. In April 2020, our revenue went down to 250 million. That's been almost nil. But we still have the expense to pay. Then how we can survive? And this survival team have to come up with the ideas how we can reduce or stop cash bleeding from the company. So we implementing a lot of initiative how we can reducing especially the personnel costs and also the trade partner that we have to pay them for the use of their product in the past, and be able at the end be able to holding the company until the traffic from the pandemics demand after pandemics ended, and the flow of revenue is coming in, and we can survive at that time. That's a part of the survival team. Yes.
So you mentioned cutting costs in order to stay afloat. What sort of policies did you implement back then, and what sort of mindset did you adapt in order to, survive such a challenging time?
Yeah, actually, one of the major costs for Thai Airways at that time was the people cost. We have to communicate with our employee that if we stay this together and we pay as usual, we all cannot be survived. This company will have to be dissolved. Then what can we do? Will you accept the pay reduction significantly for the short term? Then in longer term, we will be all survive. We have to communicate with the staff. What is a true story? What's the fact that we are facing now? And we have the corporation to accept that the pay cuts. And secondly, we have to reduce the number of staff to be able to operate more efficient for the short term and for the long term also. Same thing, we have to communicate with them that if we stay all together at that time, 30,000 employees, everybody will disappear.
Yeah.
So now it's your choice whether if you think that if you can leave the company without any trouble, of course you have to sacrifice your personal benefit, some of your personal benefit. But I think that this is spirit of our employee that they contribute to the company. Second, about the aircraft. In the past, Thai Airways used to have about 8 different aircraft types, which cost a lot of money. It's not common. Too much of the aircraft type, that means very high operating costs. Then be able to renegotiating with our lessor, the owner of the aircraft that we lease from them, that your leasing is too high. If you are not agree, then we will terminate the lease. And some of the aircraft that we decided not to use in the future, we terminating their contract. Then now we end up with the only 4 major aircraft type. That means lower operating costs. Pilots, cabin crew, technical, everything, maintenance coming down. And that's the two main, and another 3 main is the commercial. We redesign our network and also the redesign our distribution channel and also the sales distribution also. That's the 3 main one.
So in the news, I've seen that now Thailand has nearly reached positive equity. So in the future, do you see Thai Airways bringing back the A380 into operation?
No, we already decided that we will not keep the 380. We have 6 of them, and we already found the new owner. Why we decided not to keep the 380? 380 already stopped the production line. So that means in the future it's even more and more difficult to find the spare part. And secondly, 380 is too big aircraft to fly. And to be able to fill in the seat to reach to the break-even cabin factor, let's say, it's very difficult. For example, the latest number that we run, we have to sell the ticket more than 85% throughout the year at certain price of the tickets. Very difficult. 85% throughout the year is very, very high. And finally, we decided that we will not keep it. Actually, more or less the same trend that the other airlines decide. Why the other airlines still keeping the 380 in their fleet? Some rationale. First one, because some airlines, they already retrofit their aircraft just before the COVID. They already put the money, investment in those aircraft. Then actually they already invest, then they cannot phasing out. Another big case, the big airlines, the majority of their fleet is 380. Then they have to keep it, but they cannot operate 100% of the aircraft, the A380. For example, one airline have 120 aircraft, 120 of 380. Currently, now they operate only less than 90 aircraft. The remaining grounded and using that remaining aircraft to be spare aircraft or spare parts for the one that they're still keeping.
And it's very interesting how you mentioned that you had to cut your workforce during the COVID-19 pandemic. Would you say because of that, you're now relying on more capital and machinery to operate, to do jobs that people used to do before?
We do both in terms of the productivity, reprocess, and also using more on the digital solution. For example, I explaining to my staff that any jobs or any work process that you did and never use it for 1 year, 2 years, just cut it, because that's a non-productive process, non-productive activity. Then you just not do it, make it redundant, and do the job that can creating more value to company. Second, we using a lot of digital. The repetition process or repetition transaction, you can use digital instead of use the manual process. The workforce have to be put more value to the company. You can thinking about it, generating more revenue or new initiative that AI or digital cannot do it. So anything that AI or digital can do it, just move to that direction. Then that's been total costs will come down, efficiency will go up.
It's interesting how you mentioned AI because there's been a lot of talk going on about AI playing a significant role in the aviation industry, maybe like replacing pilots even. As an expert in the aviation industry, would you say that there's a possibility of that happening?
Maybe not during my age. It's a long way to go.
You're still very young.
Yeah, it's a long way to go, I think. But AI can helping in other areas. For example, what in normal case, the passenger go to the check-in counter and they use hand the passport to the check-in staff. The check-in staff had to check the passport, and if that passenger need visa to go to the destination, then right now we're using the manual to check the visa. That's a lot of error may happen. How can we use AI to use? Then we just use AI to matching the visa of that passenger have. Is it valid or not? Then we can use the AI to check. Then it will have a more efficient in terms of check-in procedure and also less responsibility to the staff, and speed of the service will be increased also.
Yeah. Okay. So now that you've mentioned airports, it leads perfectly to my next question. The Thai government wants to turn Suvarnabhumi Airport into an aviation hub.
Yeah.
How would Thai Airways support that decision, and what factors do you think the government should consider in order for the project to be successful?
Actually, this vision has been Thai government vision for decades, and this also have been in Thai Airways vision for also decades, but it never been delivered before. Thai Airways and government and also the airport of Thai Airport Authority of Thailand, we also have a same mission to make a Bangkok as a hub, which all parties that I mentioned will benefiting from this. We to make Bangkok as a hub, we cannot deny that without the home-based carrier, you cannot make Bangkok as a hub, because we still the major player. Right now we have about 26% market share. In the future, we also already set up our target to be about 35% market share. That's will contributing to the Bangkok as a hub. And the second point is Thai Airways still the home-based carrier. We still the national flag carrier. Without national flag carrier, who's gonna make Bangkok as a hub? The visiting carrier, they don't have any interest because it's not their home market. So clearly, Thai Airways will play the major roles. What kind of support or coordination have to be from the government or the airport company? We should have one of the best location in terms of the parking area and also the passenger terminal, should facilitating Thai Airways to have a more efficient in terms of the process. I make an example. If they are not planning to assign Thai Airways aircraft to parking in certain area, it will be more difficult for us to operate the ground handling more efficiently, because otherwise we have to moving a lot of vehicle, a lot of people all over the airport. It's not focusing on the one area, and that will affect the airport also, because in terms of asset utilization, airport utilization will be less because it will occupy the more bridge, let's say, rather than if they are assigning zoning for Thai Airways, then we can utilizing the aero bridge more efficient.
Okay, so would you say that's the same for airports all over the world? Does Thai Airways like want to zone their aircrafts in one area for every single airport?
Actually, if you look out the other airport in the world, they work very close with their home base carrier because it's their home market. But for us, if we go to another airport, normally they will do the same thing. We Thai Airways, we are the Star Alliance partner. Then Star Alliance member or the Star Alliance company will negotiate and talk with the airport that they have to assign the Star Alliance member in the same zoning, same area. Then we can transfer the passenger more efficient. No need to, for example, if you assign Thai Airways in Terminal 1, the other Star Alliance partner was assigned in Terminal 2, how the passenger can transfer? It take a long time. Then in terms of the airline, we don't like it, and also the airport also, because it's creating traffic and no necessity for them to assigning the different terminal or this assign very the aero bridge very far away from the same alliance. Yes.
So I feel like loads of people at home have probably seen the Star Alliance signs on nearly all of Thai Airways' planes. How did this alliance come about, and how much does it benefit Thai Airways?
It's come up in 1994, I think. 1994, Star Alliance was established in 1994. Thai Airways is one of the 5th founding member. At that time, we think that if we have to make a value, give the value to passenger, we have to start the partners which can transfer the passenger easily at that time. We call it seamless transfer. That's the first mission that Star is thinking about in that 94. But as times go by, some development happen, then we can have the loyalty program. We can exchange from the different airline in the same alliance. It's interchangeable. That will give the benefit to our customer, and also some of the area that we can have a joint purchasing together. Then we joint purchasing to creating more value from the economy of scale. That's the main.
So, sorry to go back to the previous topic, but after the COVID-19 pandemic, from what I understand, Thai Airways was at a point where you were near bankruptcy, and you had to go through a rehabilitation plan, as you mentioned. In order to go through the rehabilitation plan, you had to not be a state enterprise anymore. Do you regret that decision, and do you feel like if you were a state enterprise right now, things would be different to how it is now?
No, I'm waiting for it, that we can exit from the state-owned enterprise, even before the pandemics, or even decades ago. I always said these two status is conflicting to each other, to being a SOE and being a public company. It's conflicting to each other because SOE, the purpose of the SOE is to serving the government policy, and also as a mechanism for driving some government policy. On the other hand, we are also the public company, which have to serve. If we have to serving the shareholder, these two is conflicting each other. I call ourselves in the past is we are amphibian. We are amphibian. We are the conflict each other among ourselves, and I'm very grateful that we can change our status to the public company, purely public and private company. Whether I'm regret, no, and I never regret. I'm more than happy that Thai Airways moved to the private company. Yes.
So now that you're about to exit the rehabilitation plan and you're gonna enter the stock market again, do you think that would really help Thai Airways? As I've heard that a lot of people are optimistic about Thai Airways' growth and everything.
Yes, the good thing that we can resume the trade in the stock market is we can do the business as usual, because being a company under the rehabilitation plan, we have a lot of barrier, a lot of obstacle to managing the company. For example, the credit line, credit worthiness. Under the plan, we don't have. It's zero. Our partner never give us any credit line. Everything we have mostly have to do on some collateral or using cash. But if we go back to the stock market and exit the plan, that means we still have a more credit line, which allowing us to do the business more efficient. And also building up the confidence to the stakeholder also.
So now I would like to talk about how global conflicts affect your operations. So currently there are conflicts such as the Israel-Hamas conflict and the Ukraine-Russian conflict. Does that really affect your operations, or does it not affect it that much?
It's affect, but it's not direct effect. For example, Hamas and Israel, they have been fighting each other for
long time,
100 years. So for myself, I going through a lot of turbulence, fighting each other, Iran, Israel, Middle East, Iraq, everything already happened. Which, luckily for Thai Airways, we are quite peripheral from that area. And one of the major factor is we operate a lot to Europe, which we operate direct flight from Bangkok to anywhere in Europe by fly over those areas. But it may be affected a bit in terms of the flight time, maybe increase of the flight time, that's been burn more fuel. But we still operate. And in terms of the global impact, it's not a lot. It's not a lot because, as I said, we fly over 30,000 feet. Did not have a direct impact. The second question is.
That was my only question.
Okay. No direct impact.
Okay, thank you. Impact. And you mentioned that you had to use more fuel occasionally. Because of the Russian-Ukraine war, the price of oil went up. Did that increase your operation costs, and did that make you also increase the price of tickets and everything?
The fuel cost is a major operating cost for the airline. Every airline have the same effect. So we don't mind if the other airline or we have an effect on that, the rising of the fuel cost. The others also have an effect on that. But we have to manage the volatility of that, the cost. Right now we implementing the hedging program, not only for the fuel but also for the exchange rate. US, especially US versus Thai baht. That's a big impact for our balance sheet. And I don't worry very much about the fuel cost because everybody are on an equal playing field. Same effect.
So personally, I don't know a lot about hedging. Do you mind explaining what that is?
Hedging, the purpose of the hedging, both commodities, fuel, and also the FX, foreign exchange. The purpose of these tools is to reducing the volatility. In the past, it used to be, for example, the crude oil can be $50, can be $100. How we can reducing that window to have more certain. That's the main purpose of the hedging. Same thing to the FX. We have to reducing the volatility of the movement of the price of the FX. If we can reduce it, that means we meet our purpose. Not that we have to reduce the cost. We do hedging not because of we have to reduce the cost, but we do it because we have to reduce the volatility. Yes.
And to go back on the topic of oil and fuel, a lot of people might be concerned about the environmental effects of air travel. Are there ways to sustainably grow in the aviation industry?
ICAO already have a roadmap, which the every country that rectify for ICAO have to comply on that. We also, Thai Airways, is part of that. How we can make it happen, let's say, I think it's depending on each country, how they can implementing this. For example, the main contributor will come from the SAF. SAF is a sustainable aviation fuel. About 65% have to come from the SAF. But how we can make SAF availability in the future, that's a big question. Which currently every country impose different approach. Some countries using the incentive, some country using compulsory mandate. Depends on the countries. For Thailand, the government body already have a forum to discuss different stakeholders. I think for Thailand, we should combine these two things together. For example, what is the incentive to the producer and also to the airline? Taxation, for example. You have to cut the tax for the SAF or give the corporate tax benefit to the producer. Mandate, that's an incentive. The mandatory or on the other side, you have to give the target to the countries that by which year you have to use a certain percentage of the SAF in your operation.
Now that you've left being a state enterprise, does the government still intervene in Thai Airways' operations a lot?
Now, after we entering into the rehabilitation plan and after we becoming the public company, no intervene. In the past 3-4 years, we don't have any signal from the government, which we are quite happy, and I think this is the right direction for Thai Airways as a professional that we can run the company freely. Yes.
So now we're on to our last question. It's a question that we ask all of our guests. So if you could give one piece of advice to the youth of today, what would it be?
Yeah, for the youth or the new generation, I think we see a lot of youth using a lot of the online and saying the internet, the social media. I would like them to be in the real world, facing have a more on the human touch, seeing the different things rather than in the square monitor. That would be my suggest. Then you can have a more interaction with the human rather than more interacting with the keyboard.
Yeah.
That's my suggest.
Yeah. I think that's a great advice.
Yeah.
Thank you so much
Yeah.
for your time today. We
Yeah.
appreciate it a lot.
Yeah.
And I learned a lot
Yeah.
from you, and I know that a lot of our viewers would have learned a lot from you. Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much.
Thank you for interviewing me. Yes. Thank you.